topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Today's show is a very special show to me, is because I suffer from sleep apnea and snoring, and I've been on a CPAP machine for about almost 4 years now. And, God does some really strange things and even does them through this show. And we were able to find a friend, I call her a friend now, that discovered new techniques on how to stop snoring. I wish I'd have known her 3 years ago, but I guess God wasn't ready then. But I had been on a CPAP machine, and yes, I did stop snoring, but it's no way to sleep with a machine on your face. That wasn't how we were meant to be. And though I really wasn't sure about it at first, because I had tried everything to stop snoring. And I met Janet, our next expert, Janet Bennett, and she gave me techniques. She didn't make any promises to me. What I love about her, she doesn't oversell what she does. But if you listen to her like I did, I have been off my CPAP machine for probably about a month and a half to 2 months. I do not need it. I know I'm not snoring because, believe me, when you're a snorer, you hear yourself. So let me welcome you to my friend, Janet Bennett.
Good morning.
How about that for an opening?
That's great. Thank you. You did.
It's easy to do when it's the truth.
Thank you.
And I got to tell you, you're easy. I want to emphasize easy techniques. And it's just a matter of putting a small bit of time into it.
Right.
Because that's what I did. I did mine about 3 to 4 days a week, probably about 15 minutes, give or take. But the most important thing is, Janet, I haven't had to wear my CPAP machine.
I know.
It's amazing. And you tested your techniques, and while your success rate, as high as it is, it probably should even be even higher, because you had some people that didn't really go by your techniques.
Right. But it couldn't be a whole lot higher.
Yeah, that's right.
Let me tell the people who are listening or watching about that. I really do appreciate you sharing your story, Steve. That's very important, because what I have to offer sounds a little weird. I mean, whoever thinks of doing tongue exercises to stop snoring, and that's what this is all about. I'm a speech pathologist, and I was treating a 14-year-old football player who had a tongue thrust, and that's when you swallow incorrectly. You might get buck teeth, or you have to learn how to swallow again and reposition your tongue in your mouth. And also, when you have a tongue thrust, you breathe through your mouth. So I was treating him once a week with new tongue exercises. And on the third week, his mother came in and she said, "What are you doing to Adam?" And I said, "I don't know. What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, he's always been the loudest snorer in the world. And he even rattled our windows. And now he's not making a sound." Well, that's great. I didn't know anything about snoring. I didn't really know what to say. I turned to Adam and I said, "Well, tell me more." And he said, "Well," he said, "I'm doing better in school. I wake up feeling better. I have more energy and I run faster." So when he said that he ran faster, that got my attention more than the fact that he stopped snoring. But so that afternoon, I went home, didn't even have a computer in my office. This was in 2003. And I knew that I was going to find that they treated snoring with tongue exercises because it was so easy and, why not? And so that's not what I found. I found that they did some pretty wonky things. Nobody really knew how to treat snoring. And they would break your jaw and pull it forward to make your airway bigger, or because see what happens is your tongue falls down in the night and tries to block your airway. If it just blocks it partially, then you just snore. If it blocks it all the way, then you stop breathing, and that's sleep apnea, okay? And that's when you've got to go to your doctor and have a sleep study done for sure. But anyway, so, I was now I can't even remember what I was saying.
We're talking about your tongue and
Yeah.
blocking the airway. And
That's right, all the different tongue exercises, and so, I, I'm Steve, my
I'm
brain
here.
stopped. Okay, okay, so, anyway, Adam, this guy that I was treating for a tongue thrust, successfully did his tongue exercises, and he stopped snoring, and everybody in his family was able to sleep again. Okay, so then I decided, I got excited because, yeah, I'd looked on the internet, that's what I was saying, and, they wanted to put a CPAP on you, which looked like Darth Vader, or they wanted to cut off part of your uvula, that thing that hangs down in the back, or just a whole lot of things, and the bottom line was, no one really was able to get any success out of these things. They still snored and still had sleep apnea, of course, and they just didn't know what to do. So I wanted to save the world. And so I found 86 people all over the United States who would be my guinea pigs so that I could write a really good therapy program with tongue exercises that were easy to understand and easy to perform. And so these 86 people spent all of them, 8 months it took me to treat all of these people. And back then we didn't have Zoom, we just had a phone and email. But anyway, I met with them each once a week, and by the time everybody was done, 94% had stopped snoring. So that's the percentage we were talking about. It couldn't get a whole lot higher. 11 of those 86 people were using a CPAP machine when they started my program, and 3 of them stopped using it. That was something they did on their own. I would never suggest that a person do that. But it worked for them. They stopped snoring, and what they really did, bottom line, was they learned how to breathe through their nose. Okay, so we've got several different things going on here. And if we can just find the one common denominator on how to fix it, and it fixes everything else, that would be mouth breathing. So those people learned how to stop mouth breathing. And if you aren't breathing through your mouth, you can't snore. Some people snore through their nose. They have that something weird going on. My program won't help that, but you won't be able to get sleep apnea if your mouth is closed, right? Makes sense to me. So that's what makes this program so great, so easy. In 7 weeks, can you imagine that? I had 4 people who had done my program. I had them do a sleep study right before they started my program, and then they did one right after it. That's the only kind of research that really is needed for this. I did find 4 people, and it was amazing. The results were just amazing. One guy stopped snoring 46 times an hour, and in 7 weeks, he went down to 11 times an hour. Now, I realize he still has sleep apnea with 11 times, but his heart is not being damaged as badly as it was with the 46 times per hour. And as he kept doing exercises, I'm sure that he got better than 11. The other 3 people, sleep apnea just went away, went like below 5. If 5 or below, and I'm talking about the number of times you stop snoring and stop breathing, number of times you stop breathing in 1 hour. If it's 5 or below, you don't have sleep apnea. So the other people proved through their sleep studies that sleep apnea stopped. So I'm very proud of the program, and
You
right
should be.
now I want to share something I haven't shared this online on the show at all, but it's very exciting. This is a study that was done in 2019, so that's not so long ago. And it was done by people at the Netherlands Institute of Neuroscience. And they looked at the link between sleep and mental disorders. Okay, so let's see what they found out. Most people who suffer from PTSD, depression, anxiety, insomnia, etc., that's 2/3 of the mental issues today. Most of them, bad sleep is part of their illness. So, having all those bad mental problems, and on top of it, you can't sleep, that just makes it all worse. And so far, researchers, doctors, whoever, have tried to improve the sleep of the person by trying to improve their anxiety or depression. Or rather, instead of improve, they try to figure out how to lessen their anxiety and lessen their depression, and hoping that that will help them sleep better. Okay, so what they have discovered and decided to be true is that because they've not been successful really at lessening the anxiety or the depression, so they are saying, what if they can diminish the mental disorder by making the people get better sleep first? I think that's great. I think
Yeah,
that's
I
just a
mean,
wonderful thing, because that really is the way it works. I know I work with a lot of people who have a lot of anxiety, and until they stop breathing through their mouth, their anxiety does not lessen. It does whenever they stop breathing through their mouth.
you
Um,
know, Janet, I got to tell you, it's the one thing that's really strange is I don't think about where my tongue is anymore. And when you
right.
bring up about your tongue on the upper bridge of your mouth, it makes me think about it. And my tongue now is automatically there
You made a new habit.
without even thinking about it anymore.
And that only happened because you did the exercises. You
Right.
repeated the exercises, and your brain said, "Okay, I'll keep the tongue up
But it
there."
didn't take long, though.
I know. I know. It's because you repeated it and repeated it. Now, someone can do these exercises and practice them once a week. Okay?
Right.
It's going to take them years
Right.
if they ever make any progress. I would be surprised. Okay? But if you really get serious about it and give it all you've got for 7 weeks, 15 to 30 minutes a day, because you do your exercises twice, you've got it beat. And you don't have to do exercises all of your life. I have an easy maintenance program, and you're already in the habit. And once you get your tongue stronger and more toned, and it's living on the roof of your mouth, and your lips are closed when you sleep, it's going to stay that way, because when you wake up, you're going to feel great. You will continue to talk and chew your food and drink liquids. That all those things are what you use your tongue for. So it's just that now, after doing the treatment, your tongue is strong. and it's toned, and so it should stay in that shape as long as you talk and eat.
You said something. You said you start off the show. Was you do something that's so silly. I tell you what silly is. Silly is thinking you can put a strip of tape on your nose and you're going to stop snoring. And they sell a lot of that, and I promise you, it
I
does not work.
I
It
know.
does not stop you from snoring. And there's so many gimmicks out there. I looked on the internet after you start doing your show. There's so many gimmicks out there that I know. And well, listen, I tried a lot of them. They just don't work.
Right,
And
right.
what's so special about your techniques are that you might think there's no way, this is just too easy. I'm telling you, I, I, I don't snore anymore. And when you snore at night when you're asleep, it basically wakes you up.
Right, right.
You can
Well,
deny it all you want.
yeah. Several years ago, there was a group in Argentina who did tongue exercises or mouth exercises, whatever. They had their own exercises that they did to try to get people to stop snoring. And they had something like a 38% success rate. Okay. I was fortunate enough to get a copy of those exercises of someone in Argentina doing those exercises. And I will say some of them are very bizarre. Some are having you do things that have nothing to do with really helping you keep your lips closed. And that's why their success rate was so low. Okay. And that's why I'm proud of the exercises that I'm using to help people stop snoring, because they really do work. You can get programs that have other exercises, but they aren't going to have a 94% success rate. Anyway, back to the study from the
Janet, let me
Netherlands.
ask you, do you think mine was because of how my tongue was positioned, or what you introduced on the show was tongue thrust? And we found out that I had that also.
Right. You had a tongue thrust. Now, when a person has a tongue thrust, that means their tongue is too far forward in their mouth. It's like living right behind the lips. Okay. And that's why some people have a lisp and can't make that S sound properly. But and when you have a tongue thrust, picture laying down, going to sleep, everybody getting relaxed, and the tongue, because it's used to living real close to your lips, and normally the tongue is extra wide, which we'll talk about in a minute, so that when you are relaxed, your tongue just kind of works its way down and
Right.
opens your lips, and you become a mouth breather. That's what it's all about. Okay. Now, you can become a mouth breather and not have a tongue thrust. But if you have a tongue thrust, the odds are extremely high that you are a mouth breather. Okay. So, but that's mouth breathing is the culprit. So the goals with this program is it will train your tongue to live on the roof of your mouth like that.
And it does.
That puts your tongue, the tip of your tongue is right behind your teeth on your palate, and the rest of your tongue is up as far as you can get it comfortably. And so if all of a sudden you got a mouthful of saliva, some people, the gravity, gravity will jerk that saliva down over the base of your throat, and you're not ready. So it kind of catches you off guard and you choke. Okay. But when your tongue lives up there, it's ready for anything. It's ready to swallow because your tongue tip's going to push against that special spot right behind your teeth. So it's going to train your tongue to live up there. Like you were saying, you always find your tongue up on the top.
Whenever you bring it up, I think about my tongue, and now it's always on top.
Good.
Always.
Right. And the other major goal that you learned is how to breathe through your nose all of the time. A lot of people breathe through their nose while they're awake, but they breathe through their mouth while they're asleep. And I know one big problem with this is that people I don't know, they don't want to admit that they breathe through their mouth. They don't want to admit that they snore. Or maybe it's not that they don't want to admit it. I don't know. Maybe I don't know the problem. I think it's a social stigma. They picture, people with a wide mouth and tongue hanging out and all that. You can
You're embarrassed.
they're embarrassed, but you can be a mouth breather and just breathe out of the corner of your mouth. Okay, that's
Yes,
all it takes to be a mouth breather, just to have an
right.
opening somewhere. So anyway, these exercises teach you how to control that, and that's it. I mean, it's as easy as that. Now, the big tongue. A lot of people have a tongue that is way too big for their mouth, and we have to make it skinnier. And so, this really special thing about my program is it comes with a tongue stick. Now, this tongue stick. See that end and that end. I invented this tongue stick. I'm proud of that and have a patent on it. It's very important. And what you do is you use it to lightly stroke the sides of your tongue. You have to do it a special way. You have to hit those muscles on the side of your tongue. And you also learn how to do an isometric exercise to help make your tongue skinnier so that whenever you train it to be up on the roof of your mouth, it's more comfortable there because up there is a smaller space than on the bottom. So that's real important. A lot of people, Steve, you used to bite the sides of your lip.
Yes.
You used to bite the sides of your tongue when probably talking and eating because it just gets in the way. Your tongue, it has no place to go. Right? You put food in there and it's got to share that space with the food and the tongue, and they all have to work together. But I met someone before, a young lady who had calluses all the way around her tongue where she had chomped on her tongue. It was so wide. And of course, she couldn't move it out of her mouth. It was there, and she just chewed and chewed and chewed, and it was not good. It was not good. So lots of things can happen when you have a really big tongue, but it can be fixed. And I don't know of any other program that has the ability to do that. So that's what's important too. Back to this study, real quick. I think that this is just a great study because the people can't figure out how to lower our anxiety and depression, and those are two huge things that the people have. A large percentage of us have that, and so it's best that we learn how to sleep. So if you're out there and you're very anxious and you're depressed or just one or the other, it's worth trying the program to train yourself to nasal breathe.
Absolutely.
I want you all to Google nitric oxide, NITRIC, nitric oxide. You need to Google that and find out about it because it's a gas that our body makes. It makes it right here in our sinus area. If you breathe through your mouth, you can't get access to that nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is very important for our body to get rejuvenated during the night, make sure enough oxygen's in the blood's flowing correctly. I'm not a doctor, but it does a lot of things to help our body. So as soon as you learn how to breathe through your nose, you all of a sudden have access to the nitric oxide. Now you can get into REM sleep when you can get to nitric oxide. Right now, you're sleeping, and I use that term loosely. You're breathing through your mouth. You are not getting REM sleep. You wake up. Maybe you've been sleeping that way most of your life. You probably have. Some people rarely start in midlife, but you are used to waking up tired.
Yes.
You don't even, a lot of you don't even know what it feels like to not wake up tired. Really, if you've been mouth breathing all of your life, you think about that. You would wake up feeling energetic. You wouldn't have that headache. You wouldn't have a sore throat. Your mouth would not be dry. You would not be fuzzy. You would not get sleepy during the daytime. You wouldn't have trouble concentrating. Um, you wouldn't have messy sheets because you're a restless sleeper. There are
Yeah.
so many things that happen when you're a mouth breather. You don't know what it feels like to wake up and not have those things. So
Imagine sleeping through the night because you told me that you have sleep apnea. You literally stop snoring, stops breathing.
that's right. You do. And that's why you wake up like this,
Yeah,
snort,
right,
your brain
exactly.
says, "Wake up, wake up." And so it kinda jerks you awake, and your bed partner jumps whenever you do that, but they're glad you're
Right.
alive again because they've been laying there worrying that you aren't breathing. So, yeah, this not only helps you, the mouth breather, it helps your significant other also. And it may, just like Adam, that kid from 2003 rattled the windows, my goodness, if you're that bad of a snorer, it could help the entire family. Um yeah. So, anyway, I just love the idea of treating your sleep problem and then being able to realize better mental health. Okay, because it does make sense. Some other things I remember um, ADHD back in 2003. When I was doing all this research, I remember that they said that 86% of the children who were put on drugs for their ADHD were actually just sleep deprived.
Wow.
They were that fuzzy here, they were bouncing off the walls because they were sleep deprived. 86%, y'all, that's a
Wow. That's
huge.
amazing.
And unless they've done something like this program, they're still out there 86. I mean, it still has to be a high percentage unless they found some way to stop snoring and to sleep better. That's a good example of that. Um, also, this program helps you with other things that you never would associate with snoring, and that's like a chronic cough. Some people cough all the time, and they feel like it feels like something gets stuck in their throat, and they're always clearing it and trying to
I
cough.
had that.
They might have mucus. Mucus is 90, maybe 92% water. And so whenever you stop mouth breathing, your mucus is not going to bother you like it used to. Okay. All these things, everything changes.
Yes.
And the really ironic thing is that your doctors do not ask you if you breathe through your mouth or through your nose. Now you think about that. If they would ask that when they first meet you, new
Yeah.
client, new patient, first meet you, oh, you breathe through your mouth? Oh, well, first thing we have to do is we have to teach you how to breathe through your nose, and then we'll evaluate you and see which physical ailments are left. And I
Went through that.
guarantee there wouldn't be many physical problems left. Yeah.
I
Too
want
bad.
people to understand, Janet, that this is, I mean, we're not going to sit here and show you. I mean, that's the secret sauce. But you can contact Janet and she will work with you. And she's got this great video. And I got to tell you, just especially those of you who are on a CPAP machine now, like I was, you have no idea what it feels like to get rid of that CPAP machine. And on top of that, her exercises make so much sense. I mean, it's almost like, why didn't anyone else think of this? And to be able to do something that is so easy to do that will get you off of that CPAP machine. Janet never promised me that. I found out on my own that I didn't need it. And believe me, I have tried everything.
Right.
Dentists have this apparatus that, well, I can't say anything because we have a dentist in one of our Texas markets who does this on our show. but they're expensive. And here's a program. I think because you are a speech pathologist, I think you understand this a lot better than other doctors might.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I really believe the doctors, they may not be aware of all the things that mouth breathing can cause,
Yes.
or if they are, y'all, we must be really honest about this, because we know that if you learn how to get rid of a lot of ailments by nasal breathing, that means you aren't going to be taking all the drugs you may be taking now. It means you aren't going to need the apparatus that a dentist can make. You aren't going to need all those things. So it takes a lot of money out of other pockets. So there, I said it. So that's part of it. But I wanted to say something about the apparatus, the retainer or whatever they have, just in case someone is in this position right now and they've got a retainer. They're all different. Some are huge. I want you, in order to be able to do a treatment program like mine and keep wearing your retainer or apparatus or anything, like to stop grinding your teeth or clenching or whatever, I want you to make sure that it doesn't prohibit your tongue from going to the roof of your mouth, right behind your teeth. Okay? Some of them are made so that it covers your palate up there. You've got to, if it does, you need to tell your dentist to get rid of that part. The other part is I want to make sure that whatever thing that you are using, make sure it doesn't prohibit you from closing your lips comfortably. Now, any of us can, hold our lips closed if we have to, but if you have to think about it, that's not going to work while you're sleeping. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Janet, tell everybody how they can get your program, how they can reach you.
Okay, good. It's www.correctmytonguethrust.com or www.ijustwanttosleep.com. And that will send you over to the tongue thrust place. I have all these videos. Whenever you get the program, you do have a 60-day money-back guarantee. You now will be able to schedule a free 45-minute Zoom meeting with me so that I can initially evaluate you and make sure that you don't also have a tongue tie or anything else going on that you need to know about. And also, you will be able to contact me, get in touch with me at any time. You can call me at 828-273-9888.
Janet, you are...
Wait a minute. Email author, AUTHOR, author at ijustwanttosleep.com. I'll answer you back.
Janet, thank you so much.
You're
you
welcome.
are the real deal.
Thank you.
We're going to go to break right now. And Janet, thank you so much. Janet Bennett.
Thank you.
And that's it for us today. We'll be back again with you next week with more Ask the Experts. Stay safe, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.